Alrighty, so the first thing that just little tidbits, the first thing is that I've hired a new designer. We've had 2.5 months we've been down a designer. And so I hired one this week. She will start on Tuesday. And yes, quickly. So it will be taking the shift that Addie had, which was Sunday through Thursday on Emma's team, night spot. She begins, like I said, on Emma. Yay! So she will, like I said, she'll be doing a little bit of HR training on Monday while I'm out, and then Tuesday morning she'll start with me, and we'll have her work with me for at least a few days, and then either swap to nights like Friday or just do all days next week, and then start her night shift on that Sunday night. So we'll see how it all works out, but
She's in the Fargo office.
she will be in the Fargo office. Yeah, we've got another
desks.
Look at the desks.
Oh, Lord. The desk situation is not awesome. Poor Kate is still desk hopping.
I told you about that dream I had where we were sharing.
Yeah,
the two
Lauren
sides
is already
and we
having
kept, like,
work
bumping into each
nightmares
other.
where we're like sharing parts of desks in the Fargo office. It's ridiculous. I sent a note up the food chain again this week asking what the status was. It does sound like what's going to happen is the Modulus team, the Obits team is going to be moving up to 4th floor, and the copy desk will move into their space, so that those 6 desks from the copy desk should open up, and then we can spread over closer to me again, and I'll probably move over then so that I'm with a pod of designers again, or next to, so we'll have a little bit of we'll have a little bit of room to grow just in case. Then creative also can sprawl over, like once I move out of my desk and the copy editors move out of our pod, then we would have more space if creative needs any more spots as well. So yes, we have somebody hired in Fargo. I actually had offered the position to someone who I thought would have been working out of Brainerd office, but then she declined because of the shift. It was a night shift, and so she's got a young family. So I tried to find somebody outside of Fargo, but did not happen again. So anyway, so we will be fully staffed again very soon. The other thing that I wanted to just give a quick reminder of is when you're designing your pages, make sure that you're keeping in mind the size of the story and the importance of the story when you put your headline on. I had someone pointed out a page that had it was probably about a 3-inch brief with about a 60-point headline on 4-deck headline on it. And so, when we've got a short brief, we want to keep the size of that story in mind, the importance. It was like an honor roll kind of type of story, so it wasn't a really important story. I'm sure the designer was just using the space that they had, but a plug ad probably would have been a better use of the space, honestly. So look at what the content of that story is, and what you think that importance is, and if you're questioning if it's important or not, reach out to the editor that you're working on the page with, so they can help you out. So other than that, I'm going to jump right into the USA Today replacement plan. USA Today it's not that the forum is getting rid of USA Today pages. USA Today will not be making those pages anymore come March 4th. So we are next week, Monday, for Tuesday's papers will be the first ones that we will be creating our own Nation World pages for the company. Michael worked on several templates for us for those pages. And we wanted to kind of have some templates made because we're hoping that the forum is going to use them every day right off the bat. The Herald will use them the same days that they've been using them, using the USA Today pages, which I believe is Friday through Sunday each week. Dickinson occasionally picks up a page, but we wanted to have them pretty well formatted so that the newspapers could sell ads to fit those pages. So we built them so that the first page can take either a 3-inch strip ad across the bottom or a half-page ad, and the page 2 can take a half-page ad. And so if editors want just a half page or 3/4 of a page, they could do that. We'll be able to just trim them. Because we're going to have working files now, unlike USA Today where we were just getting PDFs and we could only crop them, we can take portions of those pages as well and work them around ad stacks to save us a little bit of time. So I think it gives us more options. It also is going to give us more options when we're talking about something like the State of the Union address. We've run into problems with USA Today where we knew that a big news event was happening, but we had to use the early versions of USA Today so that we could get it, in the Herald and stuff, or that it would take so long for them to update that we couldn't get them in our papers to press. So I think we're going to be able to respond better to bigger stories that we know are coming. My plan is not to be remaking these pages every night with updates of stories. We will be cutting it off at 6 p.m. unless we know that something is coming up for that evening. That there is a presidential address, or we know that there's something big coming. We're not going to be, if there is big enough breaking news, it's probably going to go on front pages rather than remaking the Nation World pages that we've created. So I don't want us to get in the habit of having to be remaking these things over and over throughout the night. Those are going to be rare instances. A lot of the newspapers have said that they really can't even just commit to a half page of Nation World content. I think most of us know that a lot of the papers, especially our dailies, don't use very much Nation World news. It's mostly regional if they use any wire or FNS content, other than maybe sports stuff. But I think they are excited because the copy desk will be trimming down these stories for these templates that we've created and creating shorter versions of a lot of the wired pieces. And so I think the editors, the feedback that I got at M&A was that they were interested in using those stories, maybe individually on some of their pages, so that they don't have to spend the time cutting them a 1,200 word story down to a 500 word story. The copy desk will have already done that, and they can sched that for a smaller news hole that they have available. So it should cut down on some of their workload as well. So I'm going to show you quickly what I've made up here using those templates that Michael created. And what we did is Michael created some templates, and I apologize, we still don't have these fonts on this computer in this room, but so it looks a little screwy. But we've got, you know, this is one template, and if you look up at the name here, this is page 1, template A. There are 3 templates for the first page and 6 templates for the second page. The copy editors will decide really what template we're using for these pages, based on the stories of the day, how many different stories they've got, what kinds of lengths that they have to work with. Let me show you. So this is what I created for the copy editors to look at with those templates. So these are the 3 first page options. And what we did is, you know, and these are not super rigid templates. The most rigid portions of them are these lines here. If you're the designer who is doing the actual page that will go to all of the newspapers, you're going to need to make sure that you're keeping those lines where they are at the 10-inch mark and the 3-inch mark. And again, we've got the two ad spaces on the front page, and then the second page we only have the half page mark for options. So this just gives the copy editors some idea of how much content can fit in a space with, you know, different sized photos, different types of photos. We've got, you know, one there with a mug shot. We've got this version with quite a good size photo. This is a little bit smaller. This one was created so that we can have a briefs package down the side, and we even broke it down as to how many words so that if we needed to, we could cut it off mid-page. This is a 4-story option for this page. These headlines do not have to be the point sizes that are here. It's just giving the copy editors some idea of sizing and what will fit in these spaces. And then from these mock-ups that Michael made, again, these are some of the page 2 options that they're going to have available. I created a new library called FNW Home and Abroad. And so if you're working on one of those pages, you can just grab the template, and again, you've got your page 1A, 1B, 1C, or 2A, B, C, D, E, F, that you can just drag onto the page and build from there. What's going to happen is for the pages that are being, so every newspaper will use these pages in their e-editions, like they've been using the USA Today pages. The Forum for sure will be using it in print, so it won't be attached to the back end of their e-editions. But most of the other papers will not have them in their printed papers. So what we'll do is there is a new publication has been created. It's called FCC Nation World. Its code is FNW. And so each day, one designer will get those 2 pages assigned to them. It's like it's a separate newspaper, kind of, but it's never going to go to a press. It's going to just go straight to a folder that Olive can grab those pages to attach to all of the e-editions. When those pages are approved which we're going to try to have those all done by about 6 p.m. every day so that we can have them in the Herald those days that they need them. When those pages are approved, we've set it up so that the notification is going to come to our private design room rather than like one of the newspaper's rooms. Then any of you who might have pages that actually go in one of the newspapers will know that those pages are ready to go. You can go to the FNW publication, get a copy from PageTrack, and copy over any or all of that page for your printed paper. You could also, if a newspaper skeds just one of the stories from that one of those pages, you could just grab that whole story off of that completed page as well, saving yourself a little bit of time if it works out for your design. I'm going to create a separate photo folder called FNW Home and Abroad and a separate save action so that we could reuse those photos as well. So that if we're using them in multiple papers, we don't have to be retoning those same photos over and over, since all of our dailies use the same color curve. The only thing would be those of you who work on Wilmer would need to lighten those up some. So I think that's pretty much it. Like I said, you know, I'll be sending those mock-ups to the copy editors so that they have some idea of what lengths that they should be trimming stories to. So hopefully we won't have to do a lot of back and forth with those stories. And then, like I said, I've created the library items so that we can just copy that stuff over. One thing is, if you are working on the actual FNW, the FCC Nation World pages, like the initial copies of those will not have a newspaper name on them. They'll be blank because those will be attached to all of the newspapers in the e-editions. But if you're using the ones in a newspaper, you'll need to make sure that it has the name of that paper. And on the forum template, I've already put it on those pages template. But some of the other papers, it might just be hit and miss when we're using them and when we aren't. So you'll need to do that manually, and that's on that library item as well. So, okay. Does anybody have questions about all of this? Have I missed anything? I've talked this through about like 6 different times with different people, so I hope I haven't like forgotten about things. Let's see. Yes. Joe just mentioned that he was just reminded by Ryan that the forum's feature pages are not using USA Today starting starting today for tomorrow. Oh, okay. So, yes, the forum is trying to wean itself off of the life pages, so they are starting to use some of their own content or other wire content for the pages that have typically been filled with USA Today pages. They're also working on creating, like, they're going to do a Sunday Books page of their own, a couple of travel pages, again, an outdoors page, which they really haven't had other than kind of mashed into sports. So you will still see some USA Today pages likely in the forum features sections over the next couple of weeks. They're not going to cut off on Tuesday like everybody else, or like all of the news pages will be, but they will, so there may be some USA Today pages occasionally, especially this weekend, and then some that we need to design. So we just need to keep an eye on those budgets and make sure that we're putting the correct content on it.
Saturday is.
I think that will Saturday Biz gets the, I think they get the news pages typically, don't they?
Okay.
I think.
So we're still gonna do those?
Well, they'll still, for this week, they'll still use the USA Today pages. I don't exactly know what they're planning to fill those with.
That's
I
kinda what I
have,
was
I have not heard, I've heard about life stuff, but I haven't heard about business, so I will ask what their plans are for that, so. Any other questions that anybody's thinking of with all of this? This will probably mostly affect Forum and Herald designers. Like I said, Dickinson seemed interested in occasionally picking up a half page, so you may see that occasionally. And maybe down the road, some of the papers will like the looks of it, I'm hoping, and use it more frequently, but I just don't know what the reception will be, so. Michael is asking if he should be able to see the library yet. No, I just put it in this afternoon, so it should push out overnight and we should be able to see it tomorrow, hopefully.
Restart computers.
Yes, make sure that you've restarted your computers overnight, so. I think those libraries always update overnight around like 2 a.m. or something like that. They have them set so that it all pushes at one time. And I think it's very early morning, so. 2 or
Are
3
we
a.m.
switching over to 2019?
For InDesign?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No.
Because I know like Photoshop and stuff have been switching.
Yep. Photoshop and Illustrator, it
That's
doesn't
fine.
matter if you update those or if it automatically updates for you. Do not update your InDesign. It will cause all kinds of trouble with. I think the biggest problem is that our ad placer software is so old that it runs into all kinds of problems when we have newer versions of InDesign. So, any other questions that I can answer about all this? All right. I'm going to try to stick to this whole we're done at 4:30 thing. So we're going to have 7 minutes of kudos. 7 whole minutes. Yes.
You got 6 now.
Oh, yeah. See.
Good
Slow down here.
Good job, Lauren.
All right. So, all Lauren's fault. All right. So, here's a page from Cindy for Brainerd. One of their Biz Money pages, which I think are in their Saturday papers, if I remember correctly. Nice photo illustration there at the top, and a nice headline technique of the shaking up the drug pricing. And a nice down page as well. You know, she's not got a lot of art, but she used a little pull quote to break up some of the text. So, nicely done, Cindy. Here's one for the Pine Journal. This one does
That's
not
mine.
have. Was this it?
That's mine.
That's Lauren's. Okay. Oh, you got another dog page?
Sure
I think
did.
you may be being typecast, Lauren. So, nice dog photos there, even with a little, he's like popping out of the photo a little bit there. That's a heck of a story down the side that you got to work with. And of course, only three stories, but I think you did what you could with that. So nicely done, Lauren. Here is a Lake County page that Marcy put together for their Shorelines cover. And fun theater curtain effect on this one, talking about the one-act plays. And a little bit of red highlights throughout. So nicely done, Marcy. Here's one for the Grand Forks Herald by Tanner. Looks like a Super Bowl page. And nice, great big photo, and I like the just the red outline on these letters. It's just a nice little touch, including the drop cap there. And nice down page as well. It's all nicely broken up and packaged. So well done, Tanner. Here's a Park Rapids page by Tim. And this was a really fun one with the snowmobiler right up into the flag. And he pulled the colors of the snowmobilers and their outfits into the headline treatment and the boxes around the photos. And again, this was a great treatment. You know, he didn't have an awful lot of space left down on the lower half of the page, especially with this ad, and using the photo to tuck the headlines in worked really well here. Nicely done, Tim. Here's one for South Washington County by Cindy, a sports page, and she's got the you know, a nice end of game shot here, and this is a great photo. And then again, down page, bringing your eye all the way down the page with different pieces of art. It's nicely broken up. So well done, Cindy. Here is a page by Cindy, same headline. It may have been the same story, I think, in Park Rapids as well. I think Park Rapids picked up the yeah, it's the same photo too, so that Tim had. Great. I love how the sun here is just tucking right up into the flag, and a great headline treatment as well. Just a really nice looking page. Nicely done, Cindy. Here's one of Angie's for the Mitchell paper, and we've got a nice big standalone photo here for the centerpiece image. Oh, not standalone, it's actually like a standalone package there. So we've got a nice big photo and several different, she's still got 5 stories on this front and a lot of art, but you know, well laid out so that it's not garbled looking at all. It's your eye travels down the page nicely. So well done, Angie. Here's one from Tanner for Dickinson, and this is I'm just trying to see what this centerpiece package is. A rehabilitation machine, an anti-gravity treadmill in Dickinson. That's really cool. So nice centerpiece, and that just draws you right in. Nice big headline for the centerpiece there as well. Well done, Tanner. All right, I'm gonna do one more, and this is one of Brandon's for Duluth. And you know, I started at the top of the page, and then you get to the bottom, and actually the bottom of the page is really fun. All of the cutouts here are fantastic. Nicely done, Brandon. I like that. All right, so we are at 4:30. I will save the rest for next week. I will be sending out an email with all of the info about those Nation World pages again today, along with the video link. So also look for, Emma has some tips on Slack that she was going to put together a little tip sheet. So I will attach that to my email as well. So keep an eye out for that. So, all right, I think that's it. Thanks, everybody.
I did the first Bear Grease cover for Lake County, and